There's a moment just before dawn when the world still belongs to the dark, yet the first hint of light is already quietly forming. It is a strange threshold, a soft border between what is seen and what is merely sensed. Many spiritually awake souls seem to live exactly there, walking a thin line between the visible and the invisible, caught between the weight of the world and the weight of their own awareness. In that fragile silence, a question rises like mist from the earth. Why do those who see so deeply struggle so profoundly with something as earthly as money? Jean Paul Sartre once suggested that freedom itself is heavy, that clarity is not a blessing we receive without cost. And maybe that is where the riddle begins. Those who see more, carry more. Those who feel more hesitate more. Those who awaken find it harder to bend the rules of a world they no longer fully believe in. So let me speak to you as a confidant, slow and close, as we explore this paradox together. Why the spiritually awake, the ones who sense life with painful honesty, often find themselves wrestling with the material world. Imagine a person who begins to see the world with new eyes. Suddenly, the familiar becomes transparent. The small injustices no longer pass unnoticed. The conversations that once felt harmless now sound hollow, and the roles people play appear like costumes worn a little too comfortably. This person, perhaps someone much like you, develops a heightened sensitivity to authenticity, an instinct that vibrates painfully whenever something is out of alignment. And that same sensitivity makes it difficult to navigate environments where masks are worn effortlessly, where strategy often outweighs sincerity, and where convenience sometimes speaks louder than truth. The spiritually awake soul doesn't lack intelligence or ambition. It simply struggles to move smoothly inside a choreography designed for those who do not feel as much. In that quiet struggle, the material world becomes a landscape of friction, one that resists every attempt to walk through it without betraying oneself. Sartre believed that much of our suffering begins in the tension between looking at the world and being looked at by it. The spiritually awake notice too much, the power dynamics humming beneath polite smiles, the unspoken expectations hiding in every workplace, the subtle manipulations people learn to use without thinking. And when you see all the masks so clearly, it becomes almost impossible to choose one for yourself. In the economic world, though, a mask is not a weakness but a requirement, a kind of social armor everyone is expected to wear without question. Those who awaken often hesitate, attempting to act without artifice, and that hesitation creates a gap, while others step forward with practiced ease. The awake soul pauses, searching for a way to participate without disappearing into a persona that feels false. And in that pause, opportunities slip by, careers shift off course, and the financial world begins to treat them like outsiders wandering through a system built for a different kind of mind. For someone who has awakened to a deeper sense of meaning, the traditional pathways of work often feel like foreign soil. Networking feels like a performance staged under bright lights. Office politics resemble a quiet battlefield where people smile while hiding their intentions. Even routine expectations seem strangely heavy, as if each task were asking for a small piece of your spirit. Others move through this structure with surprising ease, blending into hierarchies, adapting to expectations, shaping themselves to fit whatever mold is required. But the spiritually awake struggle to compress themselves into shapes that no longer match their inner truth. It is not a lack of discipline or capability. It is a profound incompatibility with systems that reward compliance more than consciousness. And so they move slowly, carefully, as if trying to protect something fragile inside them from being swallowed by a world that rarely pauses to consider what any of this truly means. Sometimes, the spiritually awake wander through life, as if walking in two worlds at once: the visible, bustling one of money, contracts, and obligations, and an invisible, more delicate one, woven from the threads of consciousness, insight, and quiet truth. The world of finance, in its noisy insistence, often feels alien to the person who feels the weight of their own awareness. They sense the currents beneath the surface, the hidden motivations of people, the illusions of security. Yet when it comes to their own material survival, they stumble, not from ignorance, but from seeing too clearly what others will not. This clarity, so rare, can be a burden, for it separates them from the easy, thoughtless flow of ordinary life. And in that separation, financial struggle can emerge not as punishment, but as a mirror reflecting the tension, between inner truth and outer expectation. Imagine a tree growing in a cracked concrete courtyard. Its roots search for water, and yet the stone around it resists, pressing tight against its life. The spiritually awake resemble that tree. They reach for sustenance, for a meaningful flow of abundance, but the structures of the material world, rigid and unyielding, often push back. They cannot pretend, they cannot compromise their vision without feeling the weight of a small death inside. Their path demands courage. The courage to stay awake, to face their own truths, to observe without losing themselves to convenience or the lure of empty wealth. And paradoxically, this very courage, the refusal to close their eyes, can make the journey financially harder, for it resists the easy compromises that money sometimes requires. The spiritually awake see patterns where others see chaos. They sense the currents of human desire, the hidden motives behind smiles and handshakes, and the subtle illusions that society accepts without question. In a world that rewards conformity, this perception can feel like a curse. They are aware that money is not merely a tool but a symbol, a measure of participation in a system that often values superficiality over depth, speed over reflection, and compliance over conscience. And so, while others may glide through the currents of commerce with ease, the awakened soul moves more cautiously, with hesitation born of insight, unwilling to surrender their integrity for fleeting gain. In this hesitation, struggle arises, but it is a struggle that reflects a refusal to abandon their essence. Consider the artist who paints not for applause, but because the act itself is a necessity of the soul. The spiritually awake are much like that artist, navigating the world of money, not for the thrill of accumulation, but to sustain the inner life that demands expression, contemplation, and authenticity. Their labor, often invisible or undervalued by the market, carries weight in realms that others cannot see. And so, financial scarcity is not always a reflection of effort or intelligence, it is a reflection of alignment. The more attuned one becomes to the invisible, to truth and consciousness, the more one may encounter the friction of a society structured around the visible, the transactional, the measurable. In this friction lies both challenge and revelation, a reminder that struggle can be the soil in which deeper understanding grows. There is a quiet irony in the life of those who awaken spiritually. They understand the ephemeral nature of wealth, yet they must still navigate its very real demands. Money, for them, is not the goal. It is a tool, a means to an end, a necessary illusion. But society rarely rewards this subtle awareness. The world admires those who chase riches with abandon, who participate in the relentless race without questioning why. The spiritually awake, however, move with intention, pausing to reflect, to feel, to understand. Each pause, each refusal to conform to the endless hunger around them, can feel like a step backward in the eyes of the world. And yet, this very resistance is a declaration that value is not measured solely by numbers, that life is not solely a ledger, that the richness of consciousness may be invisible, but it is profoundly real. Ask yourself this: what is the cost of seeing too much? The spiritually awake witness not only the patterns of the world, but the illusions we cling to, the compromises we make without awareness, the quiet surrender of our deepest truths for comfort or acceptance. This seeing comes with both clarity and isolation. In financial matters, it often manifests as a subtle tension, a constant negotiation between survival and conscience, between the necessity to participate and the desire to remain untainted. And so, struggle is not merely a result of skill or circumstance, it is a reflection of integrity, of a refusal to obscure truth for the sake of ease. Every challenge faced in this realm is both a mirror and a teacher, revealing the paradox of awakening, that true perception is both liberation and burden. And yet, within this struggle lies an unspoken gift. The spiritually awake learn to navigate scarcity with grace, to find richness in the intangible, to cultivate an abundance that money cannot measure. They discover the poetry of simplicity, the depth of human connection, the quiet satisfaction of living in alignment with their own truth. Financial hardship, inticency, becomes a crucible of force that shapes resilience, patience, and discernment. It teaches them that value is not external, that the world may withhold its applause, yet the soul can still flourish. And in that flourishing, there is a profound lesson that the currency of consciousness, of awareness, of authenticity is beyond any ledger, beyond any transaction, yet infinitely more sustaining than any material reward. Now, imagine a moment of stillness when all noise fades, when the clamor of coins and contracts, of bills and obligations disappears. In this silence, the spiritually awake confront the essence of their struggle, the tension between an awakened soul and a world that measures worth differently. And here lies the revelation. Financial hardship is not a punishment, nor a failure. It is a mirror reflecting the courage it takes to remain conscious, to honor integrity over convenience, depth over superficiality, awareness over ignorance. In this reflection, one can see the paradox. The struggle is both the cost and the proof of awakening. It confirms that the soul is alive, that perception is sharp, that life is being felt fully, without compromise. And in this understanding, there is liberation. For the awakened recognize that abundance is not merely a number, but a state of being, a resonance of inner truth that no worldly scarcity can diminish. And so, the spiritually awake walk their path, often weighed down by the practical demands of the world, yet lifted by the invisible currents of consciousness, clarity, and insight. Their financial struggles are not merely obstacles. They are invitations to live with intention, to find richness in subtlety, to honor truth above comfort. Remember, this abundance is not always counted in coins. It is measured in depth, awareness, and the courage to remain awake. If you carry this awareness within you, if you honor it even when the world seems unyielding, then you are wealthy in ways the world may never recognize. Sit with this truth for a moment, breathe it in, and let it settle. You are awake. You are conscious, and that is, in itself, a form of abundance beyond measure.